We live at a time when there are more young people than there have ever been alive before, and we also think about them and their futures, and having invested a great deal of money in education, unemployment and the levels of youth unemployment are at record levels, is a very expensive cost for societies around the world. On the plus side, helping young people to realize their ambition, to give them confidence, to create businesses, to create employment, has a cumulative effect. It is so powerful. If you take a young person and you are able to help them on the road to success in this way, it's much easier to do that than it is with somebody later in life. Then, of course, you have the impact that young people who've enjoyed success make obvious contributions to their community, and almost by definition are going to carry on those practices through to their children. So I think it's a very efficient way to invest in the future by investing in youth. It's been our experience that working with young people, the almost critical factor has been confidence. Particularly underserved young people tend to have shorter term horizons, and starting a business is de facto a challenging thing. Your business plan often doesn't exist beyond the first week, and that success can often be short-term success can often be as hard to deal with as with failure. So mentoring alongside training has become a very necessary add-on for us to providing financial support. But actually, this is not rocket science. It's merely replicating how the vast majority of new businesses start in the world, in family, with family capital and family know-how. And in that sense, we are simply providing those kind of resources to young people who don't start out with them. I think for financial institutions, it's not saying, oh, well, our entrepreneurs are wonderful, please lend them money. It's more a case of, okay, so if we bring government to the table and we're providing non-financial support and we've got good metrics about the performance of our young people who receive mentoring and training, on what basis would you lend to these people? And it is finding that balance then of public sector and private sector coming together around financial access that is really important. And I believe that in particularly in countries that are perhaps less developed when it comes to recognition of the importance of entrepreneurship and business development, those dynamics will change over the time, but they're very important. They're very important dynamics, and they should be seen as dynamic. If banks are step back and say, well, we're not interested in this particular part of our the societies in which they operate, then I think it does long term affect their license to operate. Public-private sector partnerships are so critical because it is the mix of financial and non-financial support which seems to underpin so many of the successes that the young people that the YBI network supports have. So I think when you're working with underserved entrepreneurs, as opposed to those who may be already starting with the benefits of strong education and assets, when you're working with underserved, you need that combination of support. I think also that there's a big part about the part about promoting entrepreneurship to promote economic growth. Economic growth means more than just GDP. It means the development of societies and communities that will come to have the strength to address many other problems that are faced. And so in that sense, there is a vested interest of the public sector and the private sector who see bigger markets or their services being more efficiently delivered to work together. It is very hard to help a young person start a business if they have a very low level of financial literacy. We did a survey of 1,000 entrepreneurs, and the most important part of non-financial support was around financial literacy. So I think there's one reason. I think turn it on its head and I think nobody would argue that financial literacy is not a good thing, is that why would you want to become financially literate? Well, one of the reasons is because because of examples of what you can do with financial literacy. So if you like, entrepreneurship can both be a way of entrepreneurship can be a very good way of promoting financial literacy, and entrepreneurship needs financial literacy in order to flourish. I think what's very important is that entrepreneurship is seen as inclusive. Many of the economies in the world find themselves in a situation today with not much wiggle room around their economic policies. And the one area that they do have wiggle room is about improving their economic productivity. And that's where entrepreneurs of all shapes and sizes can make difference. So I feel that you can look at the sort of Silicon Valley type entrepreneur, and they clearly will always play a very powerful part, a leading part you could make in terms of productivity development. When it comes to the social fabric of a town, a city, a country, particularly one with a high level of poverty, giving people a sense of optimism, a sense of can-do about their future, which I think entrepreneurship captures, is really important.